My brother got your photo from my mobile. Now he's going to talk with my father. I froze when he said it. The words sliced through the calm like a blade, and for a moment, the entire world seemed to stop breathing. My brother, the one who sees through everything, the one who has never learned mercy, now holds a piece of my secret, your photo, your smile, the proof of the one thing I've kept hidden from the eyes of this palace. My heart, my greatest rebellion, exposed. I can still see his expression, that quiet amusement in his eyes when he looked at the screen, as if he'd just uncovered a scandal large enough to shift kingdoms. I wanted to snatch the phone from his hands, but it was already too late. His silence said everything. He was going to my father, the king, and I that the prince who commands armies, who rules with a voice that makes men bow, suddenly felt powerless. Because for the first time, I wasn't fighting to protect my crown. I was fighting to protect you. I've always known this day would come, though I prayed it never would. In this palace, love isn't something you feel. It's something you're assigned. Every glance is measured, every affection weighed by politics and bloodlines. My father built his empire on rules that do not bend, and if he ever knew about you, about us, it wouldn't be a conversation, it would be a verdict. You were never meant to exist in his world. You were the secret I kept in the quiet corners of my heart, away from the eyes of the throne, away from the suffocating traditions that define my life. But now that photo, that innocent reflection of your face, could bring everything crashing down. One picture, and suddenly the walls of this palace, which have always protected me, feel like they're closing in. My mind won't stop replaying the moment, the look on my brother's face, the smirk that told me he understood more than he let on. He has always been my rival in silence. The loyal son, the obedient prince, the one who never steps out of line. And now he holds a weapon more powerful than any sword, my truth. He'll go to father not because he cares about me, but because he knows what this love means. It means disobedience, it means defiance, and he will relish watching me fall. I can almost hear the conversation already. My father's voice, calm but sharp, asking questions I cannot answer. Who is she? Where did I meet her? How long have I been betraying the name I was born to protect? Each question will carry a punishment beneath it, and I will stand there, silent, because there is no defense for what I feel for you. Not in his court, not in his world. Do you know what frightens me the most? It's not the anger of my father or the whispers of the court. It's the thought of you, unaware of the storm that's about to break over us. Somewhere, you're smiling, perhaps thinking I'm busy with royal affairs, unaware that your photo now sits in the hands of a man who believes love is a weakness. I ache to warn you, to tell you to stay hidden, to destroy every trace of our connection before the wrath of a king finds you. But how can I? One wrong move, one call, one message, and it will only confirm what they already suspect. So I'm trapped in silence, watching as everything I've ever feared begins to unfold. My hands are shaking, and for the first time in years, I feel like the boy I once was, terrified, helpless, wishing I could run to you and shield you from a world that would never understand us. If my father confronts me, I will not lie. I can't, because denying you would mean denying the only real thing I've ever had in this hollow life. I would rather face his fury than erase your name from my heart. He can strip me of my title, of my inheritance, of the respect of every man in this kingdom, but he cannot strip me of you. You have already become something that exists beyond their reach. You're not just a secret anymore, you're my truth. And even if this truth costs me everything I was born with, I will bear that loss with pride, because for the first time, I have something worth losing everything for. I keep thinking about the photo, how simple it was, how harmless. Just you, smiling softly, unaware that your beauty would start a war inside this family. It wasn't the image itself that ruined me, it was what it represented. It was a confession I never spoke aloud, captured in pixels. You, the person who taught me what love feels like beyond duty. You, the one thing pure in a life built on strategy and deceit. And now, that small photo, the same one I kept hidden like a treasure, has become the weapon that could destroy us both. I should hate it. I should regret ever taking it. But I can't, because even now, with fear twisting in my chest, I look at it and remember why I risked everything in the first place. You were worth it then. You are worth it still. If this night ends with my father summoning me, if he demands I choose between my crown and you, I already know my answer. The crown is heavy, but life without you would be unbearable. Let them call it betrayal, rebellion, madness. I don't care anymore. I have fought too many battles for a kingdom that never asked what I wanted. For once I will fight for myself, for you. Whatever comes next, whether it's exile, disgrace, or the end of everything I've ever known, I will face it with your name in my heart and your photo burned into my soul, because they can take everything from a prince, but they can never take away the one thing he truly loves. The moment I heard those words, everything inside me shattered. My brother going to my father. It isn't just betrayal. It's the beginning of a war that will not end quietly. I can already picture the fire in my father's eyes, the silence before the storm, the way he'll look at me and see not his son, but a disgrace to the royal bloodline. He'll call it dishonor, rebellion, weakness, everything a prince must never be. But how do I explain to him that this isn't rebellion, that this isn't sin, that loving you wasn't a choice, it was survival. You were the only piece of peace I had in a life built on commands and expectations. And now that peace is in danger, not because of something we did wrong, but because the world we were born into doesn't know how to understand love that dares to exist beyond power. My brother's footsteps have become a ticking clock in my head. I can hear them even when he's gone. A slow, inevitable march toward destruction. He has always envied me, not for the crown, but for the things I feel. He never understood how a man can command a nation, yet be brought to his knees by a single woman's smile. And now, he finally has something to use against me. The photo he holds isn't just proof of what I've hidden. It's proof that I am capable of disobedience. He will take it to my father with pride, thinking he's saving the kingdom, when in truth, he's destroying what little humanity remains in this family. I wish I could stop him. I wish I could run after him, take the phone from his hand, and erase every trace of you from the world. Not because I'm ashamed, but because I want to protect you from the cruelty that is about to unfold. You don't know how fragile this love is in a palace like ours. Here, love is currency, and affection is a performance. Every marriage is a transaction, every emotion rehearsed, but you are the one thing I never rehearsed, the one thing that made me forget the script they wrote for me. The moment I met you, the crown on my head became meaningless. You made me want to live for something other than duty, something other than power. And that's what my father will never forgive, because he built this dynasty on control, and what I feel for you breaks every rule that holds it together. He will see you as a threat, not because of who you are, but because of what you mean to me. And that's what terrifies me most. I keep pacing, my hands trembling, my thoughts unraveling like threads. Every shadow in this room feels heavier now, as if it's watching, listening, waiting for the explosion. My God, stand outside the door, unaware that a storm far greater than any war is about to strike. I want to go to you, to warn you, to hide you somewhere no one can find you. But every move I make will lead them closer to you. My Father's eyes miss nothing. His reach extends beyond these palace walls. If he wants to find you, he will. And when he does, I don't know what mercy will look like, because mercy is not a word my Father understands. All I can do now is pray to every silent corner of this palace that somehow he spares you. I know my brother. He will not just show the photo. He will twist it, embellish it, make it seem worse than it is. He will speak of it as though I've shamed our bloodline, as though I've broken sacred vows. And Father will listen, not because he cares about the truth, but because he cares about control. He'll summon me with that cold authority in his voice, and when I stand before him, he'll ask me if it's true. He'll expect denial, fear, obedience, but I will give him none. Because the one thing he cannot break is my truth. I will tell him, yes, I love her. I will say your name without hesitation. I will not let him turn what we have into something to be hidden in shadows. Let them strip me of my title, my inheritance, my honor. I would rather live nameless in your arms than die as a prince in his palace. You might think I'm strong, but right now, I'm falling apart in ways I can't even explain. I can face 1,000 soldiers and not flinch, but the thought of losing you brings me to my knees. I keep looking at that door, half expecting my father's guards to walk in any second, to tell me I'm summoned. My mind races with what I'll say, how I'll defend what I feel, how I'll protect you even if it costs me everything. Because I know once the truth reaches his throne, there is no turning back. This love will either burn the world around us or become the reason I rebuild it from the ashes. But one thing I know with absolute certainty, I will not let them touch you. Not as long as I breathe. So, if this is the night everything changes, let it change on my terms. If the king asks for my loyalty, he will have it only as long as it does not cost me. If my brother seeks my downfall, let him have his victory. I will stand before them all and admit what they fear most, that a prince can love beyond power, beyond politics, beyond blood. I will not hide you anymore. Let them call it treason. Let them take the palace, the throne, the kingdom. I was never meant to rule them anyway. I was meant to love you. Fiercely, unapologetically, endlessly. And if loving you brings the wrath of kings, then let the crown burn, but not the heart that beats for you. The night feels heavier than it ever has before. The air inside these palace walls carries a tension that clings to my skin like a shadow that refuses to fade. Every step I take echoes too loudly against the marble, and every echo feels like a countdown to the moment my father calls for me. I can feel it coming, that inevitable summons, the confrontation that will decide the fate of everything I hold dear. The chandeliers flicker as though even the light itself trembles in anticipation. I faced wars, I faced rebellion, I faced men with swords drawn at my throat, but nothing has ever felt as terrifying as the thought of my father knowing about you. He has always been able to destroy without raising his voice, to shatter a man's life with a single glance. And this time, I am the one who stands at the edge of that destruction. I keep remembering the first time I took that photo. You weren't even aware of it. Sunlight spilling over your hair, your laughter soft and unguarded. I remember thinking I needed to capture that moment because I didn't trust time to be kind to me. It was supposed to be just for me, something I could hold on to when duty stole me away. And now, that very image is in the hands of those who will twist it into a weapon. My father will not see love when he looks at it. He will see defiance. He will see weakness. He will see a prince who dared to feel. I can already hear his voice, cold and calm, asking me how I could disgrace our lineage for a woman who does not carry royal blood. And what will I say? That she carries something more sacred than blood. My heart, there's something cruel about how fate works. You try to protect something so desperately, hiding it from every eye, guarding it like a secret prayer. And somehow that's exactly what gets exposed. I had hidden you in my silence, in the parts of me no one could reach, but now that silence has betrayed me. The palace will talk, the servants will whisper, the courtiers will pretend not to know, but will feed on the story like vultures. I can already see it, your name traveling through the corridors like a forbidden melody, your face painted in scandal. And yet, even knowing this, I can't bring myself to regret it. If the world must know who you are to me, then let it. I have lived too long pretending that my heart is made of stone. Maybe it's time they see it bleed. My brother's footsteps will carry lies to my father, but mine will carry truth to you. If I lose everything, I will not lose the right to look you in the eyes and tell you what you've meant to me. You've given color to a life that was painted only in duty and silence. You've made me see beyond the gilded cage I was born into. Before you, I ruled a kingdom. After you, I understood what it meant to live. And that is something no crown can replace. So, when my brother speaks of disgrace, when my father rages about betrayal, I will stand firm. Let them burn their fury into me. I will not let them burn you. If they want a sacrifice, they can take me. My throne, my title, my name, all of it means nothing if it cost me the one soul who ever truly saw me. Every memory of you has become both comfort and curse. Your laughter echoes when I try to sleep. Your scent lingers in my mind like a ghost that refuses to leave. The world believes that power makes a man invincible, but the truth is, it only makes him lonelier. You were the first person who ever looked at me and didn't see a prince. You saw a man. That's why this hurts more than anything I've ever faced, because I know what's coming. I know that by morning, this love will no longer belong to us alone. It will be dissected, judged, condemned. And yet, I wouldn't undo a single moment. If I could go back and erase that photo, I wouldn't. Because erasing it would mean erasing the evidence that for once, in this endless palace of lies, something real existed. There is a strange calm that comes with surrender, not the kind born of defeat, but the kind that comes when you've already decided what you're willing to lose. I've made peace with it now. If my father demands obedience, he will not get it. If my brother demands silence, he will not hear it, because there are things a man cannot trade, even for survival. I was raised to believe loyalty to the crown is everything, but tonight I've learned that love is the only crown worth wearing. They can exile me, disown me, erase me from the records of this royal bloodline, but they cannot erase what lives between us. Some truths are too powerful to die, and ours is one of them. So when my father finally calls for me, I will walk into that throne room not as his obedient son, but as a man who has chosen his heart over his heritage. I will look him in the eyes and say, her name, your name, with the kind of pride he will never understand. Let him rage, let him roar, let him curse the heavens for giving him a son who dared to love beneath the crown. But I will not bow. Because this isn't just about love anymore, it's about freedom. And if loving you means losing everything, then let everything go. The world can have my throne, my crown, my kingdom. But my heart stays with you. The palace has grown eerily silent, as if the walls themselves are holding their breath. Every servant who passes me avoids eye contact now they've heard. I can feel it in the way they move. Careful, fearful, like they're walking around a storm that's about to break. The whispers travel faster than any command in this place, and my brother made sure they reached the right ears. My father hasn't called for me yet, but I know he will. He never acts in haste. He lets silence do the work first. He lets fear grow until it breaks a man on its own. I can already picture him, seated on that cold throne, his gaze steady, waiting to dissect every trace of emotion from my face. He won't need to raise his voice. His disappointment will cut deeper than any punishment. And yet I'm ready for it. Because for the first time in my life, I have someone worth standing for. I walked past the garden tonight, the one that always reminded me of you. The roses there were planted under my mother's rule. She believed beauty softened the cruelty of the crown. But as I looked at them now, all I saw was how easily beauty can be destroyed. One order from the king, and even the most delicate thing is uprooted. That's what they'll try to do to you. They'll call you a distraction, a sin, an unfit presence near the royal bloodline. They'll tell me love is for the weak. But I've realized that weakness isn't in loving, it's in pretending you don't. They've spent their lives hiding behind duty, afraid of what people might say. I refuse to live like that. I refuse to become a man who denies the only truth that ever gave him peace. If love is rebellion, then I accept my crown of defiance. I don't know if my brother understands the storm he started. Maybe he thinks he's protecting the family name, or maybe he's just jealous that I found something he never could. Warmth. But he's turned our father's gaze toward you, and once that happens, there's no turning back. My father's mind doesn't forgive, it eliminates. And that's what scares me the most, not for myself but for you. You don't belong to this cruel world of polished lies and poisonous loyalty. You were never meant to be caught in this web of royal politics. Yet here you are, dragged into the fire because of a single photograph. The same photo I took in a moment of love. Now it has become a declaration of war. I keep imagining what you must be feeling right now. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you're angry that I wasn't more careful. Or maybe you're just waiting, trusting that I'll protect you the way I promised I always would. And I will, even if it means walking away from everything I was born into. I've worn this crown my entire life, but it has never felt heavier than it does now. Every gem, every piece of gold feels like it's forged from chains. But if choosing you means breaking those chains, then let them fall. Because freedom isn't found in power. It's found in the arms of the one you love, in the quiet peace that comes when your heart finally belongs to someone real. You are my freedom. You always were. Tonight, before the morning comes and fate makes its move, I just want to remember us, not as a prince and his forbidden love, but as two souls who dared to meet in a world that never allowed it. No titles, no secrets, no walls. Just you and me. The way it was meant to be before the world interfered. I know what tomorrow will bring. Questions, anger, threats, maybe even exile. But none of that scares me anymore, because I've realized something profound. Power fades, kingdoms crumble, legacies die, but love endures. So let the morning come with all its fury. I will face it. And when I do, I will carry your name like a shield, unshaken.